And
Action.
all right, it is officially action time on Strategy Cafe with Timothy September, Chris Thompson, and all of you guys. So welcome. It's awesome to have you guys here. We decided last 2 weeks ago when we did I don't know if we're calling it edition one or episode one or session one, but it was fun.
We should
Session
just
one
keep
was
interchanging all of them.
yeah, who cares? Session, episode, edition. It was really fun. I think it was useful, and I think it helps us too. We get a deeper understanding of the market, and hopefully, we get to help you guys solve some problems or do some group brainstorming and stuff like that. So, welcome. All right, what are your opening remarks, Timothy, and what do we want to do here today?
Yeah. So all of you who are part of the Pykthos Mastermind already, and maybe you're just wanting to come here and do a little co-working or self-working or whatnot, I went ahead and opened up the breakout rooms. There's 5 of them. So you can jump in at your leisure if you would like. Otherwise, Chris and I, are going to be in this main room, and this
Mhm.
is where we're going to have all the other discussions. So if you have anything about, oh, so you cannot see them. Oh, that's because I haven't clicked open room yet. Ha
Oh,
ha
there we go.
ha.
Ty,
Yeah.
thank you. There we go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that. All right.
Yeah.
And there we go. Cool.
All right,
Boom.
awesome. Um, Now just to maybe start it off with a seed topic or idea, I thought it might be a good thing to ask, where are you guys spending time in your business right now? So actually in the chat, let me know if you're brand new or you already have a business up and running. I'd like to know that. So you can just say brand new or already up and running, some version of that. And then either way, if you're even if you're brand new or if you're up and running, I would be curious to know how many hours do you think you're spending a week on your not in your business as in seeing clients or whatever, but how many hours a week do you think you're spending strategically like doing things that will grow your business or launch it if you're absolutely brand new? Um, and do you feel like you know where you should be spending that time? Because that's a lot of the times in our mastermind, we spend discussions around what should people be doing, right? And ultimately, you want to do tasks that are going to have a good payback for you. So let's say you're just building a graphic or something that's kind of a trivial thing. You can get AI to do a lot of that these days. But if you are writing, let's say you're writing a sales page or creating a video that's going to be repurposed over and over and over, that has tremendous value to you in the long run, right? So that's the kind of stuff that makes the most sense. So curious, I'm going to read the chat and see what people say.
Yeah.
Up and moving. What's this up and moving with a peg leg? Okay, the chat is describing this. Oh man, the comedy. Yeah. Um, it kind of hit me that, as obviously co-founder of Pykthos along with Timothy, and then the co-founder of Mike Mandel Hypnosis along with Mike. Sometimes I'll catch myself doing stuff that really doesn't add a ton of value, right? Things that either could be skipped entirely, could be delegated to someone else on our team, or have AI do the work, because that's another way to delegate things these days. And I know not all of you have team members or anything like that, but it does kind of make sense to be thinking about the work that is the most high priority that will get you the best bang for the buck, right? I know Timothy, was it 80/20 sales and marketing? I think Perry Marshall wrote the book, and he talks about things that are either $5 an hour tasks, $50 an hour tasks, $500 an hour tasks, or say
Five.
$5,000 an hour tasks, or even beyond, I suppose, if you're like a Bill Gates or a Elon Musk or a Tim Cook or something. So if we're doing things in our business that could be $5 an hour jobs, or these days, let's say AI stuff like video editing or audio editing or whatever. Like we really shouldn't be spending a lot of time on that stuff. We should be strategically thinking about how are we going to generate an audience? How are we going to market to that audience? How are we going to start a human one-on-one conversation, kind of like we're doing here? Human conversations are what sell. So anyway, those are just some of my initial thoughts to get the ball rolling.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of really great conversation happening in the chat besides the peg leg.
Hmm.
Um, like Sari says that they've been up and running for 5 years, haven't enjoyed social media, have
Yeah.
hired someone in the past to help. Most business comes from direct hits on the website.
Hmm.
Samantha says she spent 4 hours yesterday trying, quote unquote, to build a funnel.
Yeah.
Nancy says, I have a business, but struggling to attract clients, getting hung up
Hmm.
on professional restrictions.
Oh yeah. 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 Because you're
Yeah.
a medical doctor, right? So that probably introduces some complexity.
Yeah, Stan said they're brand new, just developing website over the past month. Worked with clients for practice in October through December. Now working on how to get paying clients
Hmm.
themselves. Vicky says, wondering how to sell things like recordings. I'm not exchanging time for money. Marketing, social media isn't gaining much traction. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, really great starting points. To your earlier comment, Chris, and asking people, a ton of them said already up and running, 2 years young, up and running, had a business but
Hmm.
shut it down due to COVID, not enough time. Yeah, I'm really scattered, don't know what I'm doing, barely up and running. I've had a failure to launch. So,
Hmm.
all right. This is great. Not so much great as in if you're like, I'm stuck and don't know what to do. It's great though that you're here
Hmm.
because I don't know very many companies like you wouldn't get the CEO of Kajabi who would hop on a call for free with people just to see where you're at, see how we can help you grow, maybe see if we can help you get unstuck, right? And so this is the opportunity for you to bring some of those challenges here. For example, like Vicky, you said you're wondering how to sell things like your recordings so you're not exchanging time for money. And that's great. I think a lot of us probably got started. I know, like Ty, Chris, myself,
Hmm.
got started with this paradigm shift from the 4 hour work week. In the 4 hour work week,
Yeah.
yeah, all he did was talk about how you need to stop using yourself to be the gear that moves everything. And so he talked about things that I didn't even know existed, like virtual assistants. He talked about like online jobs at PH, your man in India, like, and so for you, Vicky, to sell things like recordings, that's a great first step because for many of us, I think we are under the guise, and Chris,
Hmm.
you can correct me here if I'm wrong, but I think for many of us in the conversations we had, people feel like they have to wear the same hat of the 9 to 5 job instead of being the entrepreneur. Like,
Yeah,
you
I
know
think
what?
that's a fair comment. I mean, being in the business of whether it's selling audios or courses or something like that, it is a man, like putting the product together is one thing, and then learning how to market it and attract clients is a totally different skill. It's very much like we come back to this a lot where anything that you do well, like the service, the actual professional thing that you do, let's say you're an amazing hairdresser or you're really good at making, I don't know, portrait, you're a photographer, or you make kitchen cabinets and you design, beautiful kitchens for people. Those are skills which are very different than the business and marketing side of selling those skills, no matter what. So I think you're right. Everyone has to learn the entrepreneurial skills and understand how to
Mhm.
run the business. How you have to have the basic framework down in your mind of how you attract clients. How do you take a stranger and turn that stranger into a buyer? And that exists in every single business. It's got to be done. So for sure, it's a different skill than, some of you guys might have skills making audios or making courses or teaching live workshops or doing one-on-one coaching sessions with clients or doing group cohorts, whatever, however the delivery method is of your helping people. The business side of it is, of course, totally different. I want to dive in a little bit though on, so like Vicky, I don't know if you're interested in unmuting and talking about this at all. But when you say looking at selling things like recordings, I don't know if you mean video recordings or audio recordings, but whenever I see this, I'm going to frame this a little bit. Back in the day, the very first business I started when I read Tim Ferriss's 4 Hour Work Week was called Talking to Toddlers. It was an audio, basically like an audio program for parents who had young kids. And I was just teaching some basic hypnotic language patterns and stuff like that around embedded commands, double binds, presuppositions that you could use with children's distraction techniques as well, so that when they're having meltdowns, it would just make your life easier and you become a better parent through that as well. It was just basically hypnosis and NLP skills applied to parents with really young kids and worked great. And I was selling the thing for like 37 bucks. And here's the thing I did not understand back then. You ain't gonna make a lot of money selling stuff for 37 bucks. Like unless you dominate the market and you're just selling, dozens of them every single day, then of course that could be great. And I think for a little while I had some weird SEO success and I was at a run rate, just that digital business selling $37 program was like about $100,000 a year run rate. Great, right? Because customer support's almost trivial in something like that. Refunds were essentially zero. I wasn't selling time for money. So to make 100 grand a year doing that would be like pretty freaking great. That did not last. And I just kind of even shut that business down over time. So I say that because I want to just check in. If you're looking at selling recordings, but the price point's going to be fairly low, is that the actual core thing that you're doing? Is that the core product that you're selling? We call it a core offer in marketing. That's going to be the thing that makes you money. Because unless you can say absolutely like hell yeah to that, then you should probably think about it being more of an entry level offer that just gets people to become from becoming a contact, like someone who knows who you are and is engaged with your contact, to actually being a customer. Because the moment you can flip that switch from they're just a lead or a prospect into now they're an actual customer, they've bought something from you, that's a fundamental relationship change. So that's the main thing I wanted to check in. Are you looking at selling recordings and that's the core offer? Or is it just something you're hoping will make you some money, but the real offer is whether it be group coaching, one on one, or something else?
The real offer would be group.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's where we're getting at. So then what you need to be thinking about is what problem does that group have that you can begin to solve with some sort of recording that you sell for a low price? It would not be the ultimate moneymaker. Like I'll give you an example here. Hypnosis training business, we have these language cards, right? We sell them. They're technically free. People just pay for shipping, but they become a customer of ours the moment they buy these. And then they get, because they spent any money at all better than zero, they're more likely to log in. They're more likely to consume the content. They're more likely to pay attention when we send them follow-up messages because they identify as being a customer of ours, not just someone who's on our email list, if that makes sense. So that's where I would start.
It's like hetero
Okay.
action for business.
Yes. Yes. Yes, exactly. Heteroaction and hypnosis is like when they do one thing, they're more likely to do other related things, you know. So suggestibility test passed. Okay, they're more likely to now get, I don't know, let's say cataleptic arm, or more likely to have their hands stuck to the table if you're doing entertainment, stuff like that. And same thing, if they buy a small thing from you, they're more likely to engage in your next email, take your next offer seriously, just build up that know, like, and trust, and then launch them into your group program.
Yeah, the thing is oh, have I lost you? Just clicked on
No, no,
something.
you're here. Yeah,
Um,
I got you. Yeah.
it's marketing. Do I pay for ads on social media?
Mm,
It's how to get a bigger audience. I've run a course already, but we had a really small cohort. We'd like to
hmm.
make it bigger. I'd like to do my own, and obviously I'm looking at Pykthos. You can design courses on Pykthos.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we can show you what it looks like if you want. As far as the marketing angle, though, so Timothy, you and I have been talking about this lately, internally and also with our mastermind members. Like, how do you know when you're ready to run traffic, paid traffic to an offer, right? Because if you do it without understanding how to run the offers, and if you do it with before you really understand your market and what problems they have and kind of know how to speak to them in their language, which usually you prove out first in organic social media, which of course costs you time but no money because you can post stuff for free until you really know what the messaging should be like. A lot of people will kind of like run ads and then say it didn't work, right? In fact, we were testing out some stuff around that in advertising land, and that's one of the areas we noticed. People would say stuff like, "Oh yeah, I burned $1,500 on Facebook ads, and it just got me no customers." Usually, it's because you just don't have like a proper messaging down yet. What are your thoughts on that, Timothy? You want to expand?
Yeah, I think before anybody starts running paid traffic, you need to make sure that the organic traffic, if they were to land some way, somehow on the page you're trying to run paid traffic to, that the journey makes sense. I
Hmm.
think a lot of people say, like in this case, Vicky, not saying this is you, but like let's say it's like, oh, I want to run, stuff to get in a group. So what ends up happening is they have this group session and they, you know, run paid traffic to it, but then maybe they only get a couple people that sign up. And to
Mhm.
Chris's point, it's like, oh, well, maybe it was the messaging, maybe it was this. But the problem is that you can guess all day, but unless you're actually looking at the metrics, like how many people landed on your website or landed on the specific page, how many of them opened the email that maybe got sent immediately once they registered? Did they get an email, right?
Mhm.
So auditing every step of the way before you start running traffic guarantees that at least when you do run traffic, it'll make sense. So I would say before you even run traffic, audit. And you want to audit things like if I click this link, does it actually go to the page it's supposed to? If I fill out this form, do I get the email I'm supposed to get? Does the email content have a link to the Zoom chat or a link to the download
Yeah,
or
make
the
sure your stuff works. Yeah.
yeah, you just want to make sure it works because I can't tell you how often even
Mhm.
Chris and I like inside of Pykthos where we've thought something was working, never audited it, never tested ourselves, and then someone finally reaches out and goes, "Oh, by the way, I tried doing this thing and didn't work." And then we go back and we're like, "Oh my gosh, this thing's been broken for weeks or months," right? Now, luckily,
Yeah.
we're pretty good at understanding how the flow is supposed to work, which is why I think it's important for you to understand something called the customer value journey. And Chris and I, well, really Chris, on YouTube put up his 2023 HypnoThoughts talk all
Oh
about the
yeah.
customer journey. And so it's free on YouTube. You can go and check that out. And I would say watch that and then start to audit your own stuff based on that customer journey.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to show, first of all, okay, let me just quickly screen share and walk you guys through this very quick. And then I'm
Yeah.
going to have to stop the screen share. Or Timothy, you want to pull up you can screen share right after me, pull up our YouTube channel that has my
Oh,
video that we're talking about. So, but this is, we have like a little dumping ground, pick those slide deck here with just stuff that we might find useful to show you guys on these calls. But this is what the customer value journey looks like. So, this is a stranger. They don't know you exist yet, right? And I like Ryan Dice often uses the metaphor of a human relationship, let's say a romantic relationship. You see someone, you go, oh, that person's really good looking or whatever. Well, how do you get from there to having kids together, married with kids. Okay, whatever. Well, they gotta know you exist. They gotta engage in some sort of conversation, more than a smile. How do you turn the engage? He calls it like, how do you turn that glance into a stare? Someone's just like, really, okay, they're checking out your content, right? And then how do you get the subscription, which is in this case, it's like the equivalent of, hey, can I get your phone number so we can talk? This is, can I have your name and email address so I can permission to follow up with them, permission to follow up, right? So you're building your own list. Then you want them to convert. Conversion really means just investing a small amount of time or money with you. So saying, hey, can I follow up with you is very different than, hey, you want to go for coffee together. So once you've gone for coffee, like you've actually spent time with the person, they see you very differently than just having exchanged contact information. Now, from that, usually, let's say you're having coffee together, you don't go and have your first coffee date and say, what are we going to name our children? Because that would be creepy. But you have conversation. Now you want this other person kind of excited, like, hey, where to from here? So from a business perspective, this, let's say, low dollar audio product or something, this is starting to make me realize, wow, hypnosis has an opportunity to help me solve my problem or whatever you're offering. You want the person to have an aha moment. And this can happen, by the way, on a discovery call, or I like how one of our members is calling them a curiosity call. I like that alliteration. So they get on Zoom with you. Now they're spending some time. And the whole point of that call is so that they have an aha moment. They are getting to the point where they say, ooh, this is interesting. This is something that can solve my problem. This is now when you, of course, make an offer and say, hey, you want to get married or whatever, right? This is where they buy your core offer. And then, of course, from whatever core offer you have, maybe they go on to leave you testimonials and reviews, advocate, and even if you like down the road decided to have an affiliate program or something, people could actively promote your offer. These are sort of the last two final steps. We don't talk about them as much. Think testimonials and reviews here, and don't worry about this one unless you're fairly advanced. But that's how you get someone from being a stranger to being a customer. All right. And I'll stop the screen share.
yeah. And so for everybody, I put in the chat, I put the YouTube link so that you can go watch the video in more detail.
Yeah. By the way, the if you click on that, one of the things we use AI a lot these days, more than, years ago when we didn't even have any of it. But the thumbnail on that video originally was just designed by our designer with placeholder text, like a placeholder headline. And I wanted to actually publish it yesterday. And since our designer's in the Philippines, so he's like 12 hours apart from us, and it was evening time, there was like he was going to be still in bed. So all I did is I went to ChatGPT, I gave it the image. ChatGPT now has a new images 1.5. It's kind of similar to Google's Nano Banana, which is their image gen model, which is free if you have Google Workspace. And all I did is literally give it the image and say, hey, can you take this image, recreate the whole thing, but change the headline from X to Y? I just gave it the new headline, completely redid the image for me. Now it took a minute, not even a minute. That would have taken, in the old days of things, me sending it to a designer, hey, go and do this, and then waiting hours or till the next day. And this was just done. So using AI to leverage, things that need to get done is just an incredible thing that everyone should be doing.
Now, I see Claire's had her hand up for a
Yeah,
while, so I
let's
want to make
go.
sure that we, yeah, Claire, go
Let's
ahead.
address as much as we can.
Okay, so I am in a bit of a weird spot where I have what do I have set up right now? I've got a website, I've got put your email in, get a file,
Hmm.
um, got a Google page, got good reviews, have had some business. The majority of my customers right now, and this is also why I asked about that product that I got the link to, so thank you,
Mm,
both of you. But I wanted a more specific answer just for the start. A
Sure.
lot of my customers right now have been people, I'm just, hanging out in a bar and they're complaining, and I'm like, I could do something about that. And they're like,
Yeah.
really? And I'm like, yes. And they're like, that's super duper cool. Let's trade numbers. And I'm like, okay, that's great. Let's trade numbers. Hey, I know we talked last night. Let's set something up. Never hear back from them again.
Yeah, that's
What am I doing wrong? How do I turn that person into someone real? Because that's the majority of the people I'm getting to speak to right now, and they're really enthusiastic in the moment. And obviously, it's probably some part shit where whoever I'm talking to is not actually there later. How do I get them
Yeah, I
back
was
out?
just thinking that. I'm sure
yeah.
Timothy, and he's nodding as well. It's like the part that shows up in the bar and wants to, bitch about a problem isn't the same as the part in the morning that goes, "Oh, I talked to, somebody at a bar." It's not exactly like even a professional environment, so it doesn't have that right sort of vibe necessarily. And then they're like, "Do I really want to address this, or was I just complaining? Like maybe I'm not at threshold." I mean, they don't
Yeah.
talk that way.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I think when people think of like alcohol, for example, lowering inhibitions, really the
Hmm.
inhibitions are the critical faculty shutting off line, because really the critical faculty is you saying no. It's
Yeah.
the internal no. And
Hmm.
so by the time that the alcohol's worn off, now their internal no of dealing with the problem is much stronger than your ability to help them, right?
Yeah.
You have to look at it, the way that, Tony Robbins and a bunch of other people discuss this, even Mike and Chris talk about it. It's, moving away from pain and towards pleasure. More people are willing to move away from pain than they would towards pleasure if it was equal battlegrounds 50-50. And so having somebody at threshold is one thing, but most people, even if given the absolute perfect way to overcome that pain, if it's just purely pleasure with no aversion, they won't do it. You have to introduce some aversion to it. So what I would do in those instances is my follow-up messages. If
Bingo.
you follow up, be like, "Hey, like we talked last night at the bar. I'm curious if you want to dive into this. Maybe we could just have a quick Zoom call." And so maybe in this case, Claire, instead of putting all of the emphasis on let's exchange numbers and then you never hear back from them, maybe it's just you following up because at least that's getting the ball rolling to make them think
Oh,
about
I
it
am
again.
sending a message in the morning. They're not responding, but I do
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the idea of actually proposing a specific thing to be done.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Because if you leave it up to them, to their own devices, they're not going to. So instead, it's like, hey, we talked about this thing last night. I would love to just like hop on Zoom if you have time, like, in, this afternoon or something like that. I don't want to sell you anything. I just kind of want to know more about what's going on. And then I can either see if I'm a good fit or point you in the right direction. So at least then they don't feel like it's a sales call and they're getting locked into it. It's just hey, I just want to catch back up and see how things are.
I got an idea for you as well. Try this out, see if it works. Offer a double bind. have something you can send the person that is just like maybe it's a video that you made discussing the problem, or if you have a any kind of lead magnet, like if you're talking to people, I suppose at a bar, it's not always going to be very niche, right? So it won't necessarily perfectly fit here because somebody could come in with social anxiety, another person could come in with like, oh, I can't, seem to go to bed without binging on a bunch of crap before I go to sleep. These are totally different problems. But if you had some sort of thing or even a couple of things that you knew would be, okay, I could offer this as like a video or a PDF or some sort of useful asset. That's one thing you can offer. The other is, or would you like to just hop on Zoom? So that way you can send a text that just says, hey, it was great to chat with you last night. Speaking of your issue, would you prefer that I send you this thing, or would you rather just jump on Zoom and talk about it some more? Like, however you want to frame it. If you give them a double bind, you're at least offering them the opportunity to take the easy way out, which is I don't necessarily want to show up in person and commit and talk to you about it. That's kind of scary, especially in the morning when I'm not at a bar anymore. But if you offer me like, hey, maybe I could just read a thing or watch a video, I'll do that, or I'll say I'll do that. And then you can probably use things like, okay, great, what's your best email? And then you send them an email with a tracking link, so you know if they even clicked it to begin with. By the
Tracking
way,
link.
some of these tools like Loom, you guys ever see Loom videos where someone makes like a screen share and they just walk you through like Loom, Loom, not loon like the bird, but Loom. I think it's free for up to 5 videos on an account or something like that. It used to be
Mhm.
25, but they changed it. But they all have like built-in tracking links. So if you were to make somebody a video saying, "Hey, I just wanted to walk you through," you could make a custom Loom for these people too, right? Like, "Hey, it was great to meet you. We talked about X and Y and Z, and I wanted to point out that here's a resource that I think will be really useful for you, et cetera, et cetera." And like basically just give them a customized little screen capture style video, and you can put your picture in the corner, or you can have your webcam on and it's a screen share type of thing. Anyway, I'm only bringing it up, it might be useful to use for the first engagement, but the key is when they click on it, you'll know, because click tracking, you're only sending it to one person, so when it gets a click, it was them. So it kind of lets you
That's a
know,
good
like
point.
having information about who's doing what in terms of, you can think of them as being top of funnel, right? Top of funnel is, I just had this conversation, they have a problem. They said, yeah, maybe I'd like some help. Okay, you got to get them to go through that funnel, sending them something and knowing they took action. That's like half the battle, right? So you don't have to
Yes.
get
Love it.
creepy and be like, oh, I saw you clicked on the link there. You can, but you don't have to. But you have
But
information
if they
now.
did, I can say, how was it, and 2 hours
Yeah.
later.
Yeah, exactly. You can just yeah, you wait like, 4 hours or something and you go, hey, did you have a chance to check out that video? What do you think? And
Mhm.
is there anything else I could help you with? I'd love to help. And they more likely to engage at that point. So you just got to warm them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
and
guess
again,
the
if
only
we're thinking,
question. Oh, go ahead.
oh, I was going to say that if we think of the customer value journey, right, even a discovery call is like 4 steps into the journey. Because
Hmm.
the discovery call, we would actually consider it's a conversion, meaning that they're giving you either a small dollar amount or they're giving you like time, right? So we have to either get them to subscribe first,
Hmm.
and usually we do that with something free. Like that's why it's called a lead magnet, because a lead is a stranger who hasn't bought yet but is now interested enough to maybe give you their email address in exchange for something. So
Yeah.
the freebie in this case, instead of going right to discovery call, like you said, it could be like an audio. It could be, it could be something small enough that even at the bar, I love this idea, by the way, from Craig. He said you could have a keychain that just has a QR code on it. And then
Hmm.
that's like, hey, scan this. That's my discovery call link. So you could have the same thing where you just have a keychain. It's like, this is my most listened to hypnosis audio. And you're at the bar, you just go, oh, yeah, scan this. And I've got a hypnosis audio you can listen to tomorrow or something like that. And then they have to opt in for it. So at least now you have their email address and you can follow up. That's a great idea.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Um, I have one more question. This is, and now you've made it related instead of unrelated, which is, um, Timothy, maybe you have an answer to this. With all of this funneling and use of audio as a a lead magnet, how are you reconciling that with the majority of the work being ETL, where in audio format, like you can't send someone an audio of ETL, so the work doesn't actually match up to what you gave them.
I wouldn't necessarily agree with that because I'm sure, like if you for on the end of the loop land, if you go back and look at anything in section five, like five, six, seven, eight, that's all about space, but also it's working in your own loop. So there's processes that you could do where you just in the audio you have them think about the issue or the problem, and then you walk them through the hypnosis without trance model from James Tripp and then maybe even link to something they want in the future. Not necessarily that they get it, but you can at least relate that stuff to it. And then that's just the session. So you're kind of explaining the what without giving them the how. And then it's like, well, come and see me and we can work on the rest of this stuff. If that
That's
makes sense.
perfect. Yeah, that absolutely, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I really appreciate it, guys.
Not a
You're
problem.
you're welcome. By the way, since I mentioned AI and image generation, I want to just show you guys quick here. This is a slide that we made a while ago, just a typical Canva style graphic, and it explains something called the 5 levels of awareness. So Vicky, when we were talking earlier about, you can actually let me know in the chat if you're still there, Vicky, but we're talking about, well, you don't know what necessarily what content to put out there to get people aware of the stuff that you're doing. Well, this model, something we talked about a couple of weeks ago in our mastermind, Eugene Schwartz, right, Timothy from
Mhm.
Breakthrough Advertising, and it's just a great model because you have people who don't even know they have a problem. You're going to typically ignore those people. Let's say the problem was, let's go with something like social anxiety. So they just they kind of think everyone has a hard time speaking to other people, so they don't really even know that it stands out. Well, you're not going to go after those people. Then they know they have a problem. It's like, hey, I'd like to be able to speak in public or chat with people at parties. I'm just super awkward about it. I wish I could fix that. So they have a problem. This is a great spot to intervene with people because they know they have a problem, but they don't necessarily know how to solve it yet. And so if you can be the one to get them from here using their own words, like saying things to them that resonate with them better than they could describe themselves, then they start to become solution aware. Like, hey, now, okay, well, what are some things? I could do speaker training, I could do confidence training, I could do hypnotherapy, whatever the case is. Then they become aware of specific offers or services, which is what you'd have, and then they become very like most aware. So kind of getting them here, getting them on your list and warming them up through content will move them down this funnel. Now, the reason I want to show you this is this was just a slide that we made a long time ago, but we wanted to communicate this in a more powerful way. And I used AI. I gave it a full prompt, no editing whatsoever. This is what we got back in a 1 minute artificial intelligence tool to build a cool image, which is way cooler, right? So having people like unaware, then this is that they know they have a problem. They're stuck in a box. They just don't know how to get out. They're in jail. And then so they become aware of options, different options. Now they're starting to pick like, oh, this hypnosis stuff, that sounds really good. I'd like to do this. And who's the person that introduced them? You. They're mostly going to be aware of you and buy from you. So this is cool. Just wanted to show you guys this because if you can describe what you want in an image for your website or a graphic of any kind, AI image tools can do this stuff for you super, super fast. In this case, we used Google Gemini to make this, and the image tool that they have is called Nano Banana. That's the current one. So cool.
Awesome. All right. And then, yeah, Lisa just asked like, what's ETL? That's Into the Loop. It's a framework it's an entire system for doing conversational hypnosis specifically geared to change work.
It's
So
awesome.
yeah, you don't learn language patterns and like the traditional stuff. It's about understanding how hypnosis actually works in conversations and
Hmm.
how you can produce change work for the person, just asking better questions, helping them relate contextual and conceptual ideas. So it's a lot of science and stuff built around it. It's taken me a while. Is 3 years of development, and then it's been running now for about three. It'll be going on
Mm.
4 years next year. So it's like a 6 year in the making kind of thing. Just in case anyone was interested.
Cool thing to turn this into business teaching for you all. I think this is useful. Timothy created the system, and I remember years ago when he was walking me through some of the stuff that he was um, thinking about and the various instructors that had inspired him over the years. And you didn't have a name for it. You just called it conversational hypnosis, like my way of doing conversational hypnosis. We had a lot, like hours of conversation. I'd just be like, this is really cool. I love what you're putting together. And then he named it Enter the Loop. Great name, because loops metaphorically, represent the open loops, and, asking
The
questions to
unconscious.
open
Yeah.
loops and causing people to start reconsidering their stuff. It's a really cool name. Now, all of you, if you're selling something, have the opportunity to come up with a unique sounding name, right? So if you just think about other products out there or services. Let's say if you, Callie, you're obviously very familiar with the fitness space, and I'm sure you've heard of P90X, right? Well, that's a specific sounding name, like, oh, I do P90X. If you can brand or name what you do with some sort of unique sounding name, it will be better than, oh, we teach hypnosis. No, we teach the Mandel model of hypnosis. The Mandel method of hypnosis. The Mandel model of therapy is a different thing. But we recently, maybe a couple of years ago, started going, why are we calling it just hypnosis? We should call it the Mandel method of hypnosis, which is way cooler sounding, right? It's unique. So people are going to be inspired by that. Or we
I love
don't
that
teach you
idea.
we don't teach you business. We teach you the Pykthos growth system. Pykthos growth system, right? And then when people go, what is that? Oh, okay, let me show you. And it has its own name. So give your products or your services some sort of name, just like Timothy did with Enter the Loop. I'm not learning conversational hypnosis. I'm learning Enter the Loop,
Yeah.
trademarked. Registered
Yeah.
trademark. Yeah.
Yeah. It's an official registered
Yeah.
trademark. And so, like, when you have a cool name like that, you can do things like register the trademark. I can't register conversational hypnosis, too vague. But by doing Enter the Loop now, and at least in the US, because you can designate where the trademark's going in the industry, I'm the only one that can have the phrase Enter the Loop in the coaching hypnosis space, which is great.
Yeah.
So,
Very cool.
yeah, here we go.
Yeah, so name it. Yeah, I'm glad. Thank you, Kelly. I figured you would know for sure, but the whole, any of these, whether it's like the company called Beachbody, or like, those are, specific things. It's great. Name them. Let's go to
Yeah.
Lisa.
Hi, guys. Thank you for diving into that ETL. That sounds amazing. So on that note, I am actually writing a book kind of about the methodology that I'm using just in my own life, but I'm finding that it's been very helpful. So I'm curious how best to really package that and leverage that. So the overall is essentially it's awareness. So it's kind of like the sevenfold path, or I haven't decided on 7 steps or sevenfold or 7 aspects. So it is awareness, mindset, and then it gets into what I call vibe methodology. So having a vision, creating that identity and stepping into it, removing blocks and embodying what that vision is that you have for yourself. And then the final is the integration and flow. So I think I had sent an email back to the email that was sent regarding this strategy cafe. Like, I'm the person that has, 47 different ideas, but I have no idea what to do with them.
All right.
I don't know how to make it work.
Ask Ty about 47tabs.com.
Did you ever buy that domain? You did, didn't you?
That was Terrence.
Oh, it's Terrence. Okay, right.
Terrence bought it.
Yeah,
But it was
joking.
hilarious. I think Timothy, anyways, yeah.
We came up with a hilarious joke that it would be funny to own the domain 47tabs.com, because like maybe you could buy 47ideas.com. Yeah, no, it's just a joke. But honestly, the best place to go with something like that is to understanding the Pykthos growth system is core to solving that problem, because you can have a million different ideas, right? And so what you need to have as a starting point, and this kind of speaks to Tim, I know in the chat, Tim had asked, is it a good idea to have a niche or like be a generalist? I think it's a good idea to have some sort of niche, and rather than just only be a generalist. It doesn't mean that you can't still solve other people's problems that don't fit into your niche, because people will refer you. And the example I often use is Ken Gutso would say that he was a smoking cessation specialist for a long time. but he would get all his business from referrals. So, I mean, you could imagine that somebody would quit smoking and then say to their pregnant friend, oh, maybe he can help you with morning sickness. And they'd call him up and say, you think you can help me with that? And he goes, yeah, of course I can, right? No problem. So you can still work as a generalist if you want to, but it's a good idea to have marketing aimed at a niche because that will focus your brain. It'll also allow you to speak in problem level statements, just like the graphic I showed you a moment ago, where, certain problem statements, you're identifying the problem. Well, you have to be able to speak at least specifically enough to resonate with that person. You're not going to do artfully vague language here and say, we're all aware of a sense of disease in our life, not disease, but dissatisfaction. And, that's not really speaking specifically enough to emotional pain points, right? It's great for a hypnosis session. It's not great for marketing. Do you have a problem in your life? Let me help you. Yeah, like that's not going to do. So picking a niche will help you. The other thing that will really help you is knowing where they're going to end. You have to know what the end is in mind. So actually, I'm going to pull up that screen again. I'm going to pull up the slide again only because I don't think we have in our Canva doc yet, Timothy, anything that shows kind of the map. But let me pull up the prop here just so I can talk you through this. Okay, so think of this where it says ascend. That's the core offer. That's the main thing you want to sell. So as long as you know what that is, and it's not of the 47 ideas that you have, probably not all of them are things that you're actually selling as the core thing. Think of this as the way you're making money, the primary way you're generating income in your business. So whether it's group coaching, one-on-one coaching, high ticket, packages, working with people for 6 months, I don't know, retreats, you name it, right? There's a lot of different ways, but pick something, the core thing that you intend people to sell, to buy from you. Now, then look at all of your other ideas and start classifying them as like, where do they fit in this? In fact, Timothy, let's go to this one. This is like another way of laying out the same thing, right? So from awareness all the way through to buying your core offer, take your ideas and start thinking about, well, where do they fit? Are these ideas to get awareness? Are these ideas to turn a glance into a stare? Are these ideas to get like a lead magnet, exchange contact information? Are these ideas something that would cause the person to invest a small amount of time or money in what I'm offering? Are these ideas something that are going to create that aha moment, right? So like a discovery call would probably fit into here or something like that. Or are they the actual thing I'm selling? So if you were to make yourself a little chart like this and slot your ideas down, you'll probably have an immediate realization. You'll have your own little aha moment here, Lisa, and you'll go, oh crap, I have the thing I want to sell, but actually all my ideas, like they're all here and I don't have a bloody clue how to get people aware of what I'm doing. Or maybe only one idea fit into there, and that is a weakness in your business. Like, I know that if I could just get more people to know about me and engage with my content, then I'd have a great business. People would be buying this thing. So just apply that maybe as a basic filter, Lisa, is like, what are those 47 ideas? Write them all down. It's a great idea to write them down and at least pass them through that first filter of like, what is that idea accomplishing? What is it doing to push somebody from this left side towards this right side? Where is it unblocking something? And then if you have too many that are in parallel, they would be competing with each other. It's like, well, I don't need 16 of these, right? Like, that's not going to help me having another lead magnet when I don't even have any eyeballs on the 15 lead magnets I already have. I'm exaggerating, but you get the point. So I hope that helps.
It helps a lot, actually. And in that first column, that awareness column, is that where the things that you're putting out there, whether it's social media or having conversations in the bar, is that where it's very niche then? Like, and that's what I struggle with as well, is that niche and that messaging. But is that what the awareness is having the niche, and then it kind of expands as you
I think it's more having the niche is more around the engagement. Awareness is just about getting eyeballs, right? If we think about the coffee shop metaphor that Chris often uses, it's you first see that person across the coffee shop and you're like, oh, that person's attractive, right? That's awareness. It's you just kind of glance at them. But then engagement is where we change that glance and turn it into a stare,
Yeah.
right? So that's where awareness is like, I'm kind of going to talk to anybody, right? At the party. I'm here, I'm bouncing around. But then engagement's when I get into that circle that they're talking about the thing I want to talk about, right? And
Yeah.
so in this case, awareness for you might be like, I do hypnosis and I would love to have these hypnosis conversations with people. But engagements where somebody shows up to my channel and they're like, I have a problem with, and they say it's your specific niche, and you go, I can definitely help you with that. I would love to talk with you more. How about I give you this free thing in exchange for my email address? So now we went from engagement to subscription, and it seems like the natural progression. So for you in your book, like one of the things that I wanted to share is a completely separate thing, which is my book is going to be coming out sometime in January. And so you see, I've already got like my front cover and everything like that, right? It's all about Enter the Loop. But for you in your own specific, like what it is that you want to sell, you see, I've got my instructions here for my editor to go through and add the images. But the one thing I wanted to show you is at the end of every lesson here, I have a little checklist. So it's like a chapter checklist of what they learned and then any additional resources that are outside of the book. And for you, I would consider doing the same thing because number one, people who buy the book probably aren't in your email list, right? Unless they intentionally bought the book like on your website. So I'm anticipating people maybe borrowing my book from another, from a friend, or maybe they bought the digital version and somebody happened to share it, right? I'm okay with that because really I want them to look at the additional resources and scan the QR codes that's going to accompany the links because that then gets them into my ecosystem. So for
Hmm.
you, instead of having the book kind of be like the end, the means that meet the ends, and this they bought the book and now they have everything about my system and how I did it. Instead, I would give them as much as you can and then find out a way that you can get them back into your digital space so you can do email follow-up and keep them engaged. To Chris's point, get them into your core offer at some point in the near future. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Boom. Yes. Wow.
And but also, Timothy's so bang on with this too, because books are generally not a moneymaker, right? Like you think of the amount of time, like Timothy, you expecting to make any money from your book or
Nope.
get leads who hopefully want to take your
Leads.
training. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the best. Perry Belcher says it. I think he says it, books are like a business card. They're just
Yeah.
a hell of a lot more prestigious. People will not throw away a book. You give someone a business card, it's probably in the junk drawer. I know
Yep.
everyone has got a junk drawer, right? Everyone have a junk drawer at home. Yeah, the business card goes in the freaking junk drawer. The book goes on your bookshelf.
Yeah.
And usually somewhere where you're thinking, oh, I'm going to read this, even though you never read it necessarily, you put it somewhere because you intend to read it. It means something to you. Somebody
Yep.
gave you a book. So if you can give people physical copies of the book, even better than a digital copy, but at
Yep.
least if you can give them the full digital version of it that they can read, and then the QR codes that are in it or the links that are in it. If it's a Kindle version or something, they can just
Mhm.
tap on it. But if it's a physical book, they might just scan the QR code. You want to lead them to a resource, something where they're on your list. So if they're already on your list because they got the digital book from you, great. No
Yep.
problem. You already have them. You could just automatically follow up by email, and whether it be Pykthos or any other system, we can help you understand how to do that, right? You want to sort of create a sequence that's like, hey, they got the free thing from me. Now I'm going to wait a little bit of time and then check in and say, hey, did you want this extra little resource? They don't have to fill out a form because you've already got their address. But
Right.
if they got it on Kindle and you make it a 99-cent thing, or sometimes Kindle will make it free, you want them, and you just want to tell people like, hey, my book is here for you. It's awesome. I get, almost none of this money. It's 99 cents or it's
Yep.
$0. Like, just give that book away and then have links in the book that get them back to your web property so that they can opt in for those little freebie things like Timothy said, so that now you have them in your list and now you can follow up with them.
Yep.
And you can start, like, I really recommend, I wrote this in my notes because it was stuff that we were thinking about lately. If at minimum you just create a really kick-ass series of emails that are, and this is why niches is so useful, because you're going to if you can create a series of emails that will be really, really useful for people who have the kind of problem that you want to deal with, then you can start sending really good emails like once a week, twice a week. If you write 30, 40, 50 such emails, you have half a year's worth of email content that can get sent to people on a regular basis, and they will start to know, like, and trust you. And if you do that, then when you make offers, another topic, I think we talked about this in our Pykthos Mastermind 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, the idea of making offers. You don't have to wait for Black Friday and just do it once a year, or think, how many of you guys think Black Friday is such a pain in the ass, I don't want to do that. No problem. Don't just give people a reason to buy now. And as you build your list and have them engaged with you on a regular basis, it's not that much work to send out an email or so every week. And then, it's like, oh, it's Valentine's Day. Great. I'm running a special. I'm launching a new cohort of my, better relationships for life kind of cohort, and you market that to married couples or whatever your niche is, right? It's you focus on fitness, weight loss coaching, let's say with hypnotherapy. Callie, I'm sure you have a lot of stuff in that space, right? It's like, okay, it's May, you've got kind of 2 months to drop a few pounds for that beach body before before July hits, right? Or whatever the case may be. There's tons and tons of reasons to have a why now and give people an offer. And so that combination of getting them on your list, having an asset that will lead them to your list, like a digital book. Don't think of the book as a way to make money. Think of it as a way to build a list, how to nurture these people along with email follow-ups. And then when you're ready to make an offer, whether it's a promotional event period, like a buy now, or whether it's an evergreen, like, hey, my next my next group coaching program is starting and it's just a continual rollover. That's how you grow a business.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing for everybody to keep in mind, right, is like when we think of lead magnet, right? This is stranger now giving you email in exchange for something. That should be like 10 minutes or less. Like they can easily consume it, because most people, when you get a freebie, it's like I'm on the train scrolling on Facebook and, oh, that looks
Yeah.
cool. I give them my email address and then I keep going with my day. I'm going to look at it later, right? So it needs to be easily consumable, something quick. When we start thinking about a tripwire, that's the phrase that we use for low dollar amount or they're investing time with us.
Mhm.
The issue people have with tripwires is they think it should be this like amazing thing. And yes, it absolutely needs to be high value. But books and mini courses are starting to go the way of not being a useful tripwire anymore because, as Perry Belcher said, you're giving them homework. They're
Yeah.
buying homework from you.
Yeah.
Like how many of you guys have ever like bought like a book from your favorite coach or something like that, and as soon as the book arrived, read it start to finish? I don't know. It's very, very rare that happens. And so if that is, to Chris's point, if that's the thing that you're like, I'm going to sell this book and they're going to love it, they're going to read it all the way through and then buy my course, or then they're going to sign up for my one-on-one, probably not.
That's a
Which is,
good point.
yeah.
You're making I love that line. Thank you for bringing that up about you don't want to sell people homework or have them
Yeah.
opt in for homework. I'm going to show you actually in a moment an example where we broke our own rule there. But it's fine to do that once in a while. Once you know the rules, you can break them a little bit. But Timothy's point is so good because, people will think, oh, well, if I only give them a 4-minute article or checklist or something, it just seems less valuable than if I was to make a mini course about it. I could make a 6-video series on this. Well, have you guys seen ads I get one all the time. I think it's called Blinkist. It's like 10-minute or 15-minute summaries of business books. Am I getting the name right, Ty? I think you would probably know that. Yeah. So, and the thing is like, hey, you're a busy CEO. You really got time to read these 20 life-changing business books? 15-minute summaries, $9.99 a month or whatever their offer is. Like I've considered that many times. Like that sounds really appealing to me because podcasts, I can listen to a 2 or 3 hour long, let's say Joe Rogan interviewing some interesting health professional or something like that. But that's 3 hours of my life. It's fine if I'm walking on the treadmill or something like that. But if I just want the boom, get the bang for the buck, right? So shortening it down is a really, really useful idea. And now, as promised, here's where we violate our own rule. By the way, feel free to sign up for this if you wish. We put a lead magnet together. This is very meta. A lead magnet about lead magnets. And it's just pykthos.com/ get leads. And in this case, it's actually a video course that Timothy and I made about all these rules for lead magnets, how they really should be something you can consume in less than 10 minutes. It's something that should look high value and it should also be high value. And there's a bunch of stuff. And then we included a free GPT that we created that will walk you through the brainstorming for a lead magnet. So if you just click the, register for free, basically we put the course in. It's actually the Pykthos course builder that we're using. Somebody had asked about building courses in Pykthos. So we're using the Pykthos course builder to deliver this. And that might be useful to you. Even if you don't watch the training, I encourage. But I, again, admit we're violating our own rules because it's probably like an hour of training, Timothy? Ish? Yeah. It maybe takes an hour to go through it, but you can do it in bite-sized chunks or watch it at 1.5 times. And then it's Chris Thompson talking like this. And then the GPT that's linked to, that'll help you brainstorm. Using AI intelligently to brainstorm lead magnet ideas, and we trained it on the course. So basically, it will give you some questions and it will give you some suggestions so that you'll end up with a lead magnet that actually makes sense. And then when it comes to making it actually look good, I'm going to say it again, AI tools to make images really freaking cool. Like back in the day, this was made by a graphic guy. But I bet you if I gave a prompt and said, hey, I'd like to have, an image that has a picture of Timothy, a picture of Chris. I want some icons floating around it, and I want it looking like a magnet that's sucking in these email addresses, and I want to have a sign-up box somewhere on there. It will do it, and it will look freaking amazing, and it'll take you a minute. So you can make nice-looking lead magnets really easily these days, guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. And I do want to answer Nancy's thing because she asked something about the book. And if you have any other questions, Lisa, you can also ask those. Really quick for Nancy, she said, does my book use QR codes in the text that takes the reader to like a video to further engage, like almost like face-to-face with the reader, like a hybrid book? No. So I have lead magnets that are like, mini courses, but they're like 45 minutes, or it's a demo of me doing ETL, or it's like me explaining the process of what I'm doing while a demonstration's happening. So it's like a play-by-play breakdown. And the lead magnets are meant to match up with the chapter. So if the chapter is on like the Zeigarnik loop, I have an entire 45-minute training about it that goes into deeper detail than what the book can give them. But the reason why that it's not like here is a quick video or whatever, and it's more of a detailed breakdown, because I want them to see my teaching style, not just a 5-minute video I can put on YouTube. I want them to actually see what it's like to learn from me in the context of a course. That way, it leads them to my main offer. So again, lead magnets need to make sense, right? Like I wouldn't want a lead magnet for, if I'm teaching a coaching course, it's the top 5 tips on how to make your laundry cleaner. It wouldn't make sense. But a book that's about this concept of what loops are, a training that accompanies it that shows you exactly how it works internally on yourself, and then that is, here's the course on how to do it with your clients. Do you want to buy? That's an easy progression. It makes sense.
Yeah. And even if they don't buy right away, what happens when it comes up and it's, Timothy's having his 40th birthday. So guess what? It's a 40% off code or something like that. Or, or buy one, bring 40 friends for free. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Don't do that. But maybe buy one, get one. Buy one, bring a friend. Want to have a friend to train with? Buy a seat and give a seat to a friend for free.
Yeah.
Not 40.
Yeah.
But
was that helpful, Lisa? And for everyone else? Yeah.
Yeah,
hey.
Timothy and Chris, thank you. That was super duper helpful.
Oh, awesome.
And I'm curious if I may ask one more question specifically about Pykthos. Is with that, I guess, program or group, how does that operate? Is there a like step by step that you take people through, or is it just general questions like this? And if it's not appropriate for right now, I'll read.
No, so without making this a pitch, we would love to have all of you.
You're making us talk about our business. How
and
dare
there's several of you who are Pykthosians already in here, right? Like Tim and Ty and even Callie, right? And so ultimately what we are is in Janus, yeah. So we're a mastermind, and we, along with the mastermind, which is the group discussion about marketing, business, discovery calls, it's this industry. So it's not like a general mastermind where we have plumbers and electricians and stuff also. It's hypnotists, coaches, therapists, and we all use the Pykthos platform, most of us
Hmm.
do, to run our businesses. So Wednesdays are where you get direct training from Chris and I, and it's about stuff that's working now. Everything from AI to email to social media. And it's not just us. We also have faculty members. So we have like Lori Hammond, we have Ryan Montes, we have Anthony Serino, and they're part of our faculty and they come in and do guest trainings. They also are in the discussion group as well. And then we have these Friday calls. So this one, the Strategy Cafe, is open to everybody. The Fridays that we don't run this are a co-working day. So we all get together and then we open up breakout rooms. And if you want to go work by yourself, you can. Or we all sit
Hmm.
in the main room and we chit chat while we're working together. So it's like a cooperative co-working thing. Ultimately, though, for 159 a month or 15.90 a year, you get 2 months off. If you go annual, you save some money. You get access to the platform, to us, and also the mastermind and the brilliance that's there. Because there's people
I'll
that
show
if we
you.
didn't label as a mastermind, you wouldn't even know that these guys did what they did. Like Ty, for example, is an incredible copywriter. And then we have people like Liesel, who she was in this call. I think she left.
She's still here. She's just muted.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Liesel is a professional, like the last 15 some years, a professional book editor. So I was able to send my book to her and she's like, "Oh, I'd suggest doing this. Here's what you should do. Here's what you
Hmm.
not should do." So we have these brilliant minds that are all talking about stuff that you typically wouldn't get at Kajabi. Like Kajabi is this
Yeah.
massive platform that everybody can access to. This is our industry.
Here, I'll show you as well. This was actually the screen I meant to share second. So let me go to the community. Where is it? Pick those community. There we go. Okay, so the mastermind community is basically a community. This, by the way, runs on Pick those software too. So you have conversation with us all. And then in terms of resources, you were wondering about this is the back end. That's why you see like add course, because if I wanted to add something, I could. We give you guys access to a whole bunch of different trainings. This is where the mastermind calls are recorded and put in the whole growth system. So we don't take you step by step live through the growth system, although weekly we answer questions about it in case you want, but this is all pre-recorded, like so you can go through. There's training, there's custom GPTs to help you fill out asset templates so that you understand your customer profile and basically all of the things that we were talking about here, they're all systemized and there's training on it. There's all kinds of different stuff that we add in here, courses. But mainly, this is the community and learning area, whereas the accompaniment to that, of course, is the app itself. So that's what I was showing you over here. And so you can manage, everything from your contacts and calendars and chat bots if you want them, or marketing sales funnels and websites and communities and membership sites and order forms and all that stuff. And then what I'm showing here is just workflows, because the heart of any business is going to be automated systems, so that if an email gets sent out and somebody clicks on a link, what happens then? And so, of course, like if you were building a lead magnet, it might look something like, let's just say continue with manual mode. So we might just build a simple workflow where if somebody fills out a form, then we're going to tag them as having asked for a thing, just so we have a bit of clean record keeping. Then we're going to send them an email with the free audio they requested. And like this is the basic kind of automation that you might want to do when you're delivering a lead magnet. And every major marketing system will have the capability to do this. Ours happens to be kick ass, but this isn't a sales pitch. But I just want to answer the question about what you get and sort of how it's delivered.
Okay. And that includes everything. So
Yeah.
the website, the funnels, and you have templates set up for funnels and things like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's tons of actually the easiest way to build websites these days. Oh my goodness, we were just doing this on the Wednesday call. Do you want to show a screenshot of that, Timothy? Do you have anything ready for that?
Well,
You can make websites now much faster using AI tools. It'll speed up your building so much, and then you can still sort of tweak it or get a freelancer in there to tweak it for you. But you can, man, it's amazing.
yeah, I want to make sure that we stick to not making this a giant pitch fest and
No,
showing
not a
all the
pitch. I,
things
I
and
was
whatnot.
thinking more, I wanted to just make sure people know that if you are, because we notice this a lot, there's people who, how many of you guys DIY your own website? you haven't, because it can be expensive or difficult to know who to hire and what to tell them to do. So it just seems easier to like DIY it, make your own. And then you kind of look back and go, bah, like it just looks like a kindergartner with a crayon. And I wish I had a nice site. So if everybody here could think, well, could I find a site that is a good example of something I really like? Could I say, hey, I really like the way that this website did their header. I really like the first section of this website where there's like a picture and a bunch of bullet points about me introducing myself. I like that. Yeah, that's nice. Could you imagine sort of taking scissors and cutting out the pieces of websites that you like, or just finding one that you really do like and cobbling it together? You could probably do that, right? So if you can do that, and then you can turn that into screenshots from your computer screen and then give that to an AI and say, build me one like this, then you can totally do that. Now, when I mentioned to Timothy, because he had done this inside of Pykthos, because the tools are there, but you can equally do this in other platforms, like one that we use that's outside of the Pykthos is called the Pykthos. Is it lovable.dev or lovable.app? I don't know. Anyway, Lovable is a platform that we use to do stuff. It's about $50 a month for a paid account. And it's tremendous. Like you can literally give it websites, give it screenshots, and it'll make stuff for you. So use these things as at least kind of brainstorming resources so that you can take a vision that you have and make it look pretty freaking good without needing a designer. How's that? That's not meant to be a pitch because it's about like just the concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah, I think that's great. Yeah, because we already did the recording of that, and I don't want to like inundate people with having
No
to watch
problem.
all the process and
No
stuff.
problem. Maybe if
Because
that comes up on another strategy cafe, we can actually dive a bit deeper into just all kinds of use cases for AI if you guys want, if that's a interesting topic. So maybe we can challenge people like bring your questions. How could you use AI to do this more cheaply, quickly, better, etc.
yeah, it's lovable but .dev, by the way.
.dev, yeah.
Yep. And Callie had her hand up a while ago, and I want to make sure that we answer Callie's questions too.
I was just gonna piggyback off of what Chris was saying. Hi guys. Uh, with the short videos, that is one thing that drives me crazy. I don't have the time to.
Yeah.
I got caught in one because I'm big into the health and wellness, and I got onto this wellness, this doctor talking, blah blah blah. Oh my gosh. I left the computer still going on 45 minutes later. And it was
Yeah.
one of those you can't scroll through. I'm like, get to the point. What is
Yeah.
like, what is the point? And it was like, forget it, just kill it. So it's like on my 4-week
Mm-hmm.
program that I do, like my videos are no longer than like 6 minutes.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Like, and it's just, and I've gotten compliments on that too, that I don't have time to sit here for an hour and just, let's get to the point. Let's teach the things. It's really helped.
Yeah, it really does help to have a good visual and sound bite hook at the beginning of the video too, especially if it's for social media. If they're already engaged in your content and it's just like, now I'm delivering them, content they've asked for, you don't need to have crazy weird hooks and stuff. In social media, it does help. But still, I mean, I remember when we launched the Mike Mandel Hypnosis Academy back in 2013, the model was Mike's just amazing at showing up and hit record, just put me in front of the camera. And I called him one take Mike because I would say, what do you want to do? Oh, I'll do a video about double binds and presuppositions. Okay. Do you need to plan it out? Nope. Just hit record. Bam. Like every single time. And these videos would be like 6-7 minutes at the most. And people loved that because they didn't want 1 hour freaking some guy sitting in front of a webcam and bless their souls. We love all of them. But, you all know some trainers that are just really good and they show up for an hour and they're just sitting there and it's boring as shit. And so when you put some interesting visuals in there and you keep it to like 6 minutes, people will love you.
Right. And the social media ones, even shorter. I try to keep them. I try to do the 30-second mark. Sometimes I go a little bit farther, but I try not to go above a minute anymore because you lose people and you really, okay, what's the point I'm trying to make now? And I think that has really helped me with gaining followers on that too, is
100%.
that short video, because then they're likely to listen to the rest of it if it's only 30 seconds long.
Yeah. And you want to have some here's I was just showing Timothy this morning. We just shot this yesterday. This is the opening scene of one of the videos that we're going to be posting some point in the future. Mike's got crazy weird plastic eyes on, and then this wine flask labeled hypnosis, and then there's a shot glass. The next scene, it's actually just baking soda and vinegar. The vinegar has a bit of coffee in it to add color. So when, he says, "Is there actually science behind hypnosis?" and he's got the weird eyes, people are going to stop. Then the next scene, he's pouring vinegar into baking soda and it just goes crazy. That's enough to get people to be like, okay, I'm going to keep watching. So do weird stuff. Can't hurt.
Well, I just gonna chime in there. The trade-off, it's interesting, right? Depending on like the whole thing, it's like the more people invest their intention, the better qualified they are. But
Yeah.
then it's like you were saying, it's like at the, stranger level, at the unaware level, it's just like you have to earn the attention, right? I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. True. And if you can make people laugh, that'll help too, build rapport. If you can just, if you can teach them something useful in a fun way, they'll build rapport. Yeah,
Mhm.
great for social. I totally agree with you, Kelly. Like keep the social videos. I've got a guy on our team that we hired a few months ago. He's really strong with social media and he trained us. He said, a minute, you think a minute is like short video? I'm telling you, like sometimes a minute is too long and you can get your point across in 30 seconds and then just shut up. Like make it really punchy. And that's a challenge. We're striving to do more like 20, 30-second videos.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it can be. I think if people, and I got this from cooking and I apply it to a lot of things in my life. Have any of you ever heard of mise en place? Like, you gather all your stuff together first before you do the thing, right? And so in this case, a mise en place for social media is I got my script. And always, always, always for your social media, if you're trying to like convey a thing, have at least a rudimentary script because stories sell much better than just some person gabbing and flapping their gums, right?
Yeah.
And so a super short story could be like, here's my hook, here's some value, here's the end where I ask you to do a thing. That can be the story. It doesn't have to be the hero's journey and all of this. But if you at least have your script laid out in terms of like, here's what I want my hook to say, here are the couple bullet points for what I want to say about the value, here's the call to action. Then you just use your social media or your I almost said your social media tool, which is your phone.
Yeah.
And almost everybody's phone now, at least on the camera app, has the pause button feature. How many of you guys have ever seen that? So you can be recording a video, like let's say I'm recording a video, right? You guys can see this live. So I hit record, and you see how I now have a stop and I have a pause. So if I hit pause, you see I can record again. So what I do is I look at my line and I go, okay, so think about this frame that you see as the window on your video that you're recording. Everybody, I accidentally hit stop all the time. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So everyone, I want you to think when you're recording, think in thirds. Center, left third, right third. As long as you change this up, you're going to keep people's attention. So what you do is maybe you start in the middle and you deliver your first line, hit pause. Move over here, deliver your second line. Move over here, deliver your third line. And if you keep
Hmm.
doing that consistently, just by delivering your lines, you can get your social media videos down to, 30 seconds, 45 seconds ish, while still conveying everything
Yeah.
you want to do in the video, and it makes it engaging because you're moving around.
Yeah.
And most people's camera app or whatever has the ability to trim each of the sections. So as long as you're trimming it and you're getting rid of any awkwardness, the video looks crisp. It's highly engaging. There's a hook. There's a clear story. It will keep people's attention.
Yeah. Here's another visual hook that I did the other day. Just tape on my face, right? And as I delivered I didn't have a script, but I had talking points to Timothy's point, and I just delivered the talking points while I was peeling these pieces of tape off my face. So I'm not sitting there for the whole video with this ridiculous painter's tape. Um, and
Oh, that's so
so
fun.
Timothy's pause, that's a game changer for us. Like the idea that you can just hit record, do a line, pause, not stop, pause, and then assemble your video in chunks. And an editor or you, or maybe AI in the future, just like give yourself a little extra, right? Every time you do a scene, you're just giving yourself, action, deliver your line. You're going to trim that out.
Yeah.
So you have a nice tightly edited video at the end. Hopefully you're not the one doing it. That works really well. The option that I find as a backup, if you are tight enough and you can go, you're going to keep it under a minute, you're not going to turn it into a Ken Sweatman story. The way I did these is I had a little, I did it actually, you can see in the background, it's the same wood background. So I was sitting literally right in this chair, but I don't have the camera with the screen towards me. I had the rear facing camera to me so that I'm not tempted to look at myself on the screen, right? Because that looks ridiculous. So set it up. I just made sure I was holding it with one of those little arms, tripod-y kind of things with the bendy arms. What do they call those things? Octopus arms or whatever. Anyway, just reach around, hit record, do the whole video in one shot. Then I'm looking here. So you're not going to be tempted to have your eyes on, yourself. You want to make eye contact with the audience. So that's some social media stuff that's fun. We I think we did a walkthrough of a bunch of different things you can do for social media in the Pykthos Mastermind about 2 months ago. So if anyone's in here that's in the mastermind and missed that, feel free to watch. It's one of the replays.
Yeah. Well, we also did a giant faculty round robin where all of us gave our input on social media, like what's working on TikTok, what's working on LinkedIn, what's working on like Facebook, and we all round robin discussed that, and that's a recording inside the platform too.
Grab this thing. Oh, here it is. This is what I was talking about. This little thing just holds the phone and it can get screwed to any kind of desk, and that way you can just sort of point the camera at you, get yourself comfortable. So if you're at your kitchen counter or whatever, you don't need any this is like a $20 thing from Amazon, so super cheap and can be really helpful. And if you're doing Timothy's style or the one I described, it's great for both of those if you're shooting by yourself.
And that is, of course, as long as you're using that specific tool for personal reasons.
There you go. Yeah. And if you don't want to do that, and one thing I like as well, because Timothy mentioned the thirds, like moving around, but I like to just shoot vertically and keep myself fully framed. Or in the case of me shooting a video from Mike, I keep Mike fully framed, but we just change the angles, right? So it might be, the fireplace is in the background over here. Now the kitchen's in the background over here, or we're in the backyard, or whatever the case. And I also like, if you can get someone else to shoot it for you, the whole stop start thing, it works really well, is you can change different distances. So for example, I might have somewhere, when someone's delivering the line that's sort of like the inner secret, then I'm bringing the camera really close to them. And then the next scene, I'm coming back a bit, and maybe the person's walking towards the camera, or maybe they start sort of looking this way, and then they just turn to the camera and deliver the line. So it keeps it interesting. Yeah. So just play with it, because even if you screw it up, you can hit delete.
Yeah. Yeah. Or you can send it to all of your friends.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. All right. Yeah, it's getting around almost near the end of
12:20.
Our 90-minute session together here. Are there any pressing questions or comments or anything that now would be the time to ask?
Yeah, just a further comment on that thing. I think I was like putting in the chat around like the three kind of common resources that comes up in copy and all that stuff, like time, money, and energy, effort, right? And I was just like thinking, it's like we think about getting things down to time and all that stuff, but like and like why do viral cat videos? Because it's like it actually comes back to like the Jack wins, right? Create an emotion, right? Like if you it doesn't take, it only takes seconds to create an emotion if it's done well. Obviously, all the stuff to loop attention and keep that going is all great. But I was just thinking, right, if you can make someone laugh or smile in like 5-10 seconds, then that's already, I think that's creating that currency.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. If you can make them feel good about themselves, especially in your presence, they'll assign that to you. You'll have good rapport, teach them something useful, give them some empowering question. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
Are we are we
No other
slowing down here?
comments?
It's coming up
Yeah.
on the 90-minute mark. Anybody else stuck with anything that they,
Uh,
even if they're, don't
well,
be
yeah.
shy.
So, Janice said I have laryngitis, but wanted to ask if I
Oh,
built a website in Lovable, then can I just import it into Pykthos? It used to just be WordPress. So,
oh yeah.
what we were outlining earlier, Janice, is that the platform now it has no, it's getting ready to launch this publicly, but as agency admins, we can turn it on and off. So I'm inside of our demo account here, and you can see that now you can generate websites with AI. So you could start with a blank canvas, and then you can just come over here and click on build and just say, hey, I want to build XYZ, right? But the really cool thing is you can attach an image. So let's say that there was a website that I really, really liked, and I'm like, hey, I want you to build, one like it. You can just drop the screenshot in here and it'll start building it. Now, let me pause this because I do have an example of this
Oh yeah.
that we,
Okay, while you're pulling it up, I'll just explain in simple terms what I remember from what Timothy showed because this was really cool. So first, we were challenging people like, "Hey, who's got a website they think is a cool model?" And somebody came up with one. I can't remember who came up with one, but we
Ty
had a
did.
URL. So
Ty gave
yeah,
us
Ty
like
did.
the hardest website in the world to
Yeah. And
copy.
it was a cool site. So Ty provided a URL. Timothy pulled up that URL in his browser and then used a plugin
Yeah,
that will
this one here
save the entire
as a
website as a
screenshot.
screenshot rather than just what you can see on the screen. So just a neat little tool, a free plugin that made a screenshot of the whole site, if that makes sense. So without having to scroll all the way to the bottom, it just does that automatically. So one picture, basically, Timothy then went into this website builder here and said, here's a picture. Literally the prompt was, make me
Make
one like
one like
this.
this.
And then he hit the button. And I think we had to wait maybe 6 or 7 minutes, right? It took
Yeah,
a ridiculously long time, right, Timothy?
it was so
It was
long.
crazy.
In fact, we couldn't even sit there and watch the whole thing because it took so long. We literally just sat and watched it build it live for
And
like
and
the
we
six
just
or seven
wished we were
minutes.
back in the day when we could hire a designer and have it take 2 weeks instead. That would have
Yeah,
just been so much better.
yeah.
Anyway, what happened, Timothy?
Yeah. So it built the website, and then we're like, okay, well, the problem still is that it had no copy, and it was a hard website to copy. So instead, I was like, all right, I'm going to just give it some very basic prompt like colors, etc. And then what's really cool is inside of the Pykthos growth system, and let me pull this up because I think this is,
We're
um,
just going to teach you guys some shortcuts here, basically.
yeah,
That's the whole point. Don't think of this so much as, oh, I absolutely have. Yes, you can do this in Picthos. You can do
yeah,
it in Lovable. You can do it in other tools. We're just going to show you the process to use some
yeah.
intelligence to speed things up.
So when Chris and I taught the Pykthos growth system, we have this coach Bob as an example. He's our demo. And for every one of these tabs, they have a specific purpose. One of them is called the brain message blueprint. And this is the one that we have an AI bot that can help you, but it essentially outlines the way that your client probably talks about their problem and how you can have the website copy in your emails or on the website itself talk directly to your client or your niche in a way that they would resonate with so they're more willing to convert and buy. So
Yeah.
all we did was is I took this and I hit file, download as a PDF, or you can do HTML website, whatever. It just a
PDF's
way.
great. PDF's
PDF's great.
everyone understands that, right? Yeah.
And then all I did was I went back to my website builder here and I clicked attach, upload file, and I gave it my messaging blueprint. And I said, here's the copy, update the website now with the copy. And
Or
literally what you see on this page is exactly what it gave, which is
Yeah,
uh
let me
yeah,
take
go
another
ahead.
spin at explaining that, just a slightly different angle. So, step one is he had a screenshot of a website and said, "Make me one like this," with no instructions other than that. So, of course, it doesn't know what niche or anything like that, and it made the website, but all the text really kind of was unrelated to any specific. It didn't know, right? Right, Timothy? So it was just like, "Make
Yeah.
me one like this," and it just put kind of gibberishy text, like not for family therapy or whatever. Then he thought, oh, well, I wonder what would happen if I gave it a bit of something to aim at. So that brand messaging blueprint is basically a PDF you exported, you added, and you said, "Hey,
Yep.
make the website more appropriate for this type of audience. Like I'm giving
Yep.
you my brand messaging blueprint, fix the sales copy on that." Like he didn't give it any more direct instructions than go improve it based upon this target audience, this brand
Yep.
messaging blueprint. And 3 minutes later, it did this.
It did. Yeah, it did
And it's
this.
actually like a pretty good starting point.
Yeah.
So two ways you can use this, guys. Number one is you can find a model of a site that you like and do that kind of thing, screenshot, and then use AI to build your own, like make it your own. Or let's say you've got a site on WordPress, and like Janice, you're a Pykthos member already. So if you want to take your website from WordPress and move it into Pykthos, screenshot it all in WordPress, go over to the AI builder, or maybe we can do it for you as admins because you don't have that tool yet. It's coming, but we'll do it for you. And then we'll just go like, make me one like this and recreate your site. So if you wanted to move from a proprietary platform like Squarespace or Kajabi and you wanted to move into another platform like Pykthos or something, you could do that. Or if you just wanted to move from Squarespace to something more custom based on Lovable, same thing. Screenshot what you have now and then give the AI the screenshot and say, "Hey, can you make this? But oh, by the way, suggest improvements." And it'll probably do that. It'll come up with all kinds of good ideas. So whether your
Hmm.
AI is Pykthos, whether it's Lovable, whether it's ChatGPT or Claude or you name it, Gemini, it'll this takes away the need for you to have a professional designer on staff or even hire a freelancer. Most of this stuff, I would argue now, you can actually do DIY website design and have a pretty good outcome.
Hmm.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, we're good,
Hi.
Callie. How are you? Yeah. I'll mute you.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So I did want to show Chris, because we were curious, right?
Yeah.
So the AI builder, look, it can access the web.
Oh, nice. Beautiful.
So they
Yeah.
added this little icon called tags.
Yeah.
And if I click that, web is one of them. All these others are like coming soon. But look, they have niche, goal, target audience, offer, language.
Oh, I love it.
And so you could literally just have AI help you with all of these, but the one that's only one that's unlocked is web. So I
Yeah.
I said, hey, review this website, which is the same site that I just saw or that we showed you, and I just want
Mhm.
to see if it will make a copy of it. So yeah, look, it pulled up. Oh my gosh, yeah,
Oh,
it's
wow.
literally I'm gonna see if it just copies the page. So I'm gonna stop the screen share and let it do
This
its
is
thing.
this is really cool because oh my goodness. I mean, I was telling Timothy this morning I want to relate this back to investing only because I spent a lot of time in my youth and now investing like in stocks. And when I would think about stocks, I would not see the vision that like big wig CEO types of visionaries would see. Like, I'll give you a simple example. Back when I was a Tesla shareholder and I would drive a Tesla, and I would hear stuff like Elon Musk talking about how the future is all self-driving and these cars are all going to drive themselves. I'm an engineer, and my attitude, Timothy is my witness, knows that I was like, oh, that's ridiculous. Come on, this not going to drive themselves. That's crazy talk. That's what I believed. And thankfully, I understand that I'm more often wrong than right when I have those thoughts. And so when the platform that powers Pykthos came along, and when the CEO of the platform said, "We're going to put AI everywhere," what did I think? I told you this morning, right? I said,
Yeah.
"Oh, come on! Like, why would anyone want that? You could just go to ChatGPT, use it for free, and copy and paste." Because I was thinking so limited. I was thinking like, "Oh, I want a headline or I want some body text. I'm going to copy and paste." But no, if you want to ask ChatGPT to design a site with a particular framework, it has to be able to control that framework, right? So putting the AI tools right inside the platform makes it just impressive and incredible. I mean, you can have AI design a whole email follow-up sequence and connect all the boxes for you when it's in the platform. When it's in ChatGPT, you say, write me 10 emails. And now you got to go copy and paste it and create all the boxes and link them all together and set up the time delays. And it'll take you way more time. So the main message here is AI is your friend. Don't let it take over all your thinking, right? But if it can take over the basic stuff. Like if you want to cook a meal and AI can chop the vegetables for you, I'm using a kind of a weird metaphor, but you get the idea. That's great. You're still in control of the recipe. You're still thinking and you're applying your brain to what you do. But you're just having it do the things that you would otherwise kind of suck at. Maybe it's graphics, maybe it's web design, might be even headline creation and email subject line creation. It can give you ideas, but you can apply your own brain to it. It'll make your life so much easier. So no matter what platform you're on in your business, guys, just make sure that you're considering how you can use AI to speed things up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
I think this is such a fun topic. Can you tell?
You know, it'd be so great if I ever become a billionaire. This is totally off topic, but if I could buy the domain t.ai, man.
T.ai. That's funny. I like it. Would that be a little expensive, do you think? I guess it's taken. Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny
You could just
story.
do
Yeah.
tie.ai. And there's just all right.
Tie.ai. That might work.
So
Yeah. Oh, is it up and running?
So it didn't exactly copy 100% everything, but you can see in the time that it took you to explain what was happening, this is quite literally it. It's the exact same thing. You see, this is my review and make me a copy.
Yeah.
It did everything, and then here we go. Here is the final copy that it suggested.
Oh, I want to mention a couple of things about this because this is pretty cool. Okay. So you notice anybody, can you notice where it looks weird? Like the unable to find form. Go right up there. Yeah. You see this one where it says unable to find form. That's because what the AI builder did is it said, hey, you're probably going to want to have an opt-in form here. Now, it didn't design the opt-in form, but it put it in the appropriate spot so that if you do design one, that's where it's going to show up. That's basically what the AI is doing. It's doing like half the job, I guess, right? And this one here, book a free call, that's a weird color, right? Is that an actual button, Timothy, above that, or is that meant to be an element?
Yeah. So
it is.
what
Okay.
it was trying to do is, remember, it was trying to go to pykthos.com/ it's trying to basically copy this page. And so it read this and thought it was a button.
Oh, right. Of course, because the original one that was a Pykthos output, unable to find form. That's where it's telling you, hey, you should have a form here. Now, the way Pykthos works is very similar to a lot of drag and drop page and funnel builders. So think of it as a hierarchy of like at the outer edges of your page, it's a blank canvas. You put stuff on it, right? Well, what do you put on it? You can put sections and you can put rows, you can put images, you can put buttons, and you can put forms, and you can put embedded calendars, and you can put videos. Well, all of those are just different Lego blocks from the builder. And the same thing is true in most other builders, whether it be Kajabi or whether it be, well, you name it, all the different Squarespace and Wix and Weebly or WordPress or whatever. It's just stuff. And so if an AI can tell you what stuff should go where, it'll make your life a lot easier and faster. So that's pretty cool. Cool. Man, it's been now 95 minutes. So that's, AK had her hand up too, and I just want to make sure we have a chance to address that.
Cool. This is like a side note, but
okay.
When I think of taking any action in your Pykthos world, we'll say, Brain Software just dropped a 5-minute self-hypnosis recording with Mike.
Yeah.
And it is super. And it would be a nice way to begin each learning session. And I thought, I need to create a little anchor to just shift mindset. So I just wanted to share that with everybody else is in Brain Software.
Thank you. Yeah, that's true. If you're an MMHA member, you get Brain Software Syndicate by default. It's automatic, and it's at go.mikemandelhypnosis.com. That's where you would log in for that one. It's a separate thing. Sometimes people get confused and they ask hypnosis questions in there, but that's more like the personal development, self-help type of community. Cool. Thank you. All right. What do you think, Timothy? Was that productive?
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Was great.
Was it helpful? Hopefully we get you guys further down the road than you were. That's the whole point. I like Qasim's metaphor of just kick the ball down the field. Whatever you're doing in business, think it's a kid with a soccer ball and he's at the other end of the field where the net is. He's trying to get the ball in the net, right? How does he get it there? One kick at a time. Just kick the ball a little bit down the field. So if all we can do is help you guys kick the soccer ball just a tiny little bit, then we're happy.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Thank you guys so much. Just as a reminder, next 2 weeks, there's not really going to be anything at all. So these meetings won't happen because next week is Christmas. And then the week after that is New Year's.
Yeah.
So
Like
we'll be back after the first.
Yeah, our mastermind calls are on Wednesdays, and those won't happen for 2 weeks. The in 2 weeks, let's see though. Will we do one, or are you still on the road? Are we doing one first Friday in the new year?
Yeah, I won't be back home.
Okay, so we will, depending on, we'll see. We may skip a week then, and we may just go to the next Friday for the next strategy cafe call. We'll find out.
We'll find out.
We'll see if he's sitting around and going, darn it, I miss everybody. I want to do it. Then maybe we'll do one. Who knows?
Yeah. Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that said, then I will see you guys whenever we do this one next, and I won't make the joke. See you next year. Oh, I just did. All right, guys. Let's unmute and let's do this.
Thanks once again.
And
good night.
Bye-bye.